Greetings, mortals. I am Q, and I am here to pass judgment on the Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Episode 12, Through the Valley of Shadows. Now, it was an interesting episode, I must say. It was actually very interesting to see Pike's journey to this monastery on a Klingon world. I mean, a monastery. I didn't see any books. I'm not surprised. They probably ate them all. But to run into Vox's son at a older age, quite interesting. Comics dude, welcome. So, if you haven't figured it out, there will be spoilers for this episode. And if you don't like them, well, then click away. No one's forcing you to watch, for now. But yeah, so were really two things that happened. I mean, Burnham had one storyline and Pike the other. Though there was a little C-plot where our engineer that was rescued is kind of dabbling in the love life of Hugh and Stamets. It's actually kind of cute in a manipulative sort of way. I actually appreciate what she did. Though I can already hear people screaming, "Oh my God, she's gay too." Yes, deal with it. You couldn't figure it out? She didn't give you that vibe? My gaydar went way off when I saw her. But back to the main storylines. Well, let's deal with Burnham, because she's the drama queen. But it actually wasn't a bad episode, though, again, she gets so obsessed with everything. Hello, Joe. Comics Dude Joe. So, I will call you that, by your request. So, Burnham gets so obsessed and, like, she needs to do this, and she gets focused, and she doesn't listen to anyone else. Those signals were sent for a reason. Now, I could find out, but again, the Continuum has limited my abilities because, well, I didn't mean for that chain of supernovas to happen, just, you know, slight miscalculation. So yes, they've kind of forced me to watch this show, and actually, the joke's on them, because this episode wasn't bad. We did have Burnham team up with Spock, who I really appreciate the fact that he doesn't put up with Burnham's bullshit. That should be like a thing. Burnham's bullshit. It's like, you know, you can get it on sale now. Burnham's bullshit. For when you really need overdramatic bullshit. So he doesn't put up with that. Goes with her on this mission, which was apparently, spoiler alert once again, a trap. They find her dear old friend who joined Section 31 because apparently they just have an open door policy. Anyone, especially that Burnham knows, can just join Section 31. It's like, oh, on your application here, it says that you know Michael Burnham. You're hired. Is that the Section 31, you know, interview process? Is that the qualifications? Oh, you know someone who committed mutiny and got away with it. Very well. You are part of Section 31, where we commit all kinds of crimes and get away with it. Isn't that wonderful? But still, it was an odd coincidence, or was it, that her friend from the old ship made an appearance, but apparently, don't mind the cat. I always have to cat sit for Gary 7. And he knows it's the stream night, so of course he chooses these nights. So I think that that particular crew member was chosen. Now, he was replaced, molecule by molecule, by these nanomachines. Now, a lot of people are saying, Borg. Oh, Joe, thank you for appreciating the Doctor Who episodes. The Time Lords are rather pretentious, thinking they're lords of time. They've never run into the Q continuum, because we find them annoying. But I do appreciate, and I'm sure that the people here who are staring at me with some trepidation, because I could wipe them out with a snap. No, I'm no Thanos. Really appreciate that you like the Doctor Who episodes. So I am passing that on. Do you get this stuff? Okay, excellent. So, a lot of people are saying Borg. I really hope these writers are not trying to make Control into the Borg Collective, because, quite honestly, it doesn't make sense. Control wants to wipe out all sentient life in the entire universe, and the Borg want to assimilate it. I mean, unless they go ahead, and first of all, the Borg were far before Burnham's time. So unless they decide to use time travel and send Control back in time into the Delta Quadrant, which, I could do it, but with the limited technology that is available to humans even in this advanced century, never mind now, I think that would be a bit much to ask. Isn't that right, Kat? This is why I don't mind so much Gary Seven's little pets coming by. Oh yes, you like that. You do, yes. Q likes cats. Deal with it, mortals. They're actually the best life form on this planet. You don't realize they basically have enslaved humanity. Right. You are so smart. So, we did see this replaced human turn into a basically puddle of nanomachines coming after Burnham when the whole syringe thing didn't work. And luckily Spock was able to magnetize the floor. Luckily, apparently, Burnham left her keys at home or else she'd be stuck too. But, yes, I don't think that the modus operandi, I hope you humans know what that means, of the Borg and Control match up. Cat hair. That's the one bad thing about cats, but still they enslave you. Primitive humans. So the whole theory, I think, is just, it doesn't make sense. I don't think that Control will become the Borg. If they do that, I'll be quite disappointed. And any thought, if they do that, of doing next season, voluntarily, because I should be out of this prison by then, will just go totally out of my mind if they do that. I mean, Burnham's time, they've already established, and they blew away the whole mirror universe thing, where Kirk and his crew members ended up in another universe, and they were supposed to be the first contact with the mirror universe, and Enterprise respected that. Their mirror universe episodes had nothing to do with anyone from the crew crossing over. But of course, Discovery had to just bring an entire ship over. Why not? So, I'm really hoping they don't suborn this. If the sound changed, it's because apparently someone didn't switch something on this audio device. Were you hearing me okay? So let's see what some of you have to say. How would I feel if my cat spit out a tesseract one day? Well,
you would be amazed at the things she swallows, but she is not... What is that?
Flirkin.
She's not a flirkin. I definitely checked. With my senses, flirkins cannot hide from me. Yes, I agree with Mind for Lease, the whole... who agrees that her control can't be Borg. I would really be disappointed because, again, Burnham's not that important. Apparently in the show, she's like the reason for the signals, and it was her mom running around as the Red Angel. And she was, in the other universe, you know, the Emperor's, or Empress's, rather, you know, right-hand woman. But still, yeah, she can't be that important. But yes, next week it is going to be nice to see the Enterprise and to see Pike back in that very nice uniform. Yes, it might be what they do if they send control in the past to the Delta Quadrant. And there was a fan theory that kind of made sense, that it didn't get all the data it needed, so it was trying to gather its own data by assimilating other races. But I really hope they don't do that. I'm really hoping that they respect the books, the Destiny books, and go ahead and leave the Borg out of it. Leave them with their own different thing. Of course, you know, if you look at humans walking around now with their faces in their cell phones and putting things in their ears, and there was a Google Glass thing, and pretty soon humanity, this branch in this universe, may take its own course into being the Borg. That would be something. Yes, Joe, the cat is not a flirkin. Your daughter kept bitching about Rebecca Romaine only being in one episode. Looks like she's going to be a big part next week. Well, that will be interesting to see. Number one, I believe. At least she's not number two. I'm trying to make jokes that you people will understand. So I do think that they should avoid the whole Borg thing. But yes, CBS respecting nothing. They've pretty much trampled all over continuity. I'm kind of basically given up on complaining about Section 31, which is supposed to be super secret, but now everyone knows about it, and they have a fleet that apparently everyone knows about. It's a bit aggravating. Hello, Amsterdam. Gregory, welcome. Is it 4:13 in the morning there? Wow. I really appreciate your coming in at this hour. By the way, I've been requested, after the season ends, which I think we only have to put up with 2 more episodes, that I will do a live stream on like the Saturday following, if the timing works out. Let me see. Yes, it should work out with the timing, because I know that this crew is going to be next week at Great Philly Comic-Con, where Anson Mount is going to be. That is going to be something. And then the weekend after, I will do the live stream. Then the weekend after that, they will be at AwesomeCon in this nation's capital. This great nation. I don't know how you make Earth great again. It's 1:13 p.m. in Tasmania. Is that where you're from, Joe? TrekCon in Vegas. I have considered it. I don't know that I'm going to be doing that, especially after the little credit card debacle that they had. They have to buckle, because it's been debuckled. But they had a little debacle where they got all their credit card numbers out. Well, yeah, going back, Mindfully said the Spore Drive tardigrade was plagiarized. I'm sure it was. And But even if Section 31 is classified, hello Tasmania, even if Section 31 is classified, people will talk. I mean, I suppose they could go that route and say Section 31 can never be in the light again, they must always be in the darkness, and kind of eliminate records. But isn't that the whole, against the whole philosophy of this Federation? Is hiding information is really not what they like to do. I mean, Section 31 would do it in a heartbeat. Dean is asking what I would do where all the people that I know were one of the 50% of all life in the universe that turned into ash. Thanos! Not a big thinker, that guy. Again, when he snapped his fingers, when you say all life, was it all life or all sentient life? Because I didn't see any plants disappearing, and or all intelligent life, which meant half the cats went away. So I don't know exactly what he was thinking because if he got rid of half the cows, but I said that last week. I do want to just drop in on Thanos. That would be a lovely thing, but you know, he's kind of grumpy. He might try to destroy me, which would be a big mistake, because the continuum, well, let's just say the Q stands for maybe something you know as quantum, and I don't think he's quite able to deal with that level. Yes, Agents of Section 31 will be coming back. But, you know, I should get back to this episode, because we'd been talking about Pike and how next week these people will be meeting Anson Mount, and we'll see if they can get an interview. And that would be interesting to see and hear his take and all that kind of stuff. But he had a journey which was more harrowing than anything that Burnham and Spock dealt with. I mean, they had a bit of a challenge. Wouldn't be a challenge for me, but, you know, again, they're limited life forms. But he went down to the monastery to get a time stone. And those are tricky buggers. They definitely warp the flow of time around it, and actually, in his case, showed him the accident that would put him in that chair. And I do appreciate that in this depiction of the Federation history, the chair actually looked pretty much like it did. Not quite as boxy, but it pretty much looked like it did in the menagerie. So I think that was a great nod. And the fact that he saw this future and was told if he took the stone, there was no way to avoid it, yet he did it anyway. That speaks of character. That speaks of the type of person Captain Pike is. He may be a bigger hero than Kirk. I mean, Michael is all whining about her mother, and here Pike sees he's going to end up in a chair with his face that looks like an avocado, yet he does it anyway. A little hammy, a little cheesy, but it is what happens. Joe, the new Shazam movie, apparently I deal with cheap people. They're waiting until $5 ticket Tuesday to see Shazam. And again, the continuum has limited me, or else I'd already have seen it, so no spoilers. Yes, Pike was 100% in character. I must say, Anson Mount has impressed me with his depiction of Pike, and who a captain should be. I mean, Lorca last season, definitely a different flavor of captain. I mean, I could kind of see his manipulations and kind of appreciate them, but Pike is definitely, in my not-so-humble opinion, a better captain. Let's see. Endgame should be an interesting thing. That apparently, these people are going to be seeing that possibly at AwesomeCon there was some kerfluffle, I believe, and it may or may not happen, but we will see what occurs. Hopefully, these people won't wait until $5 Ticket Tuesday. I mean, they're not exactly rolling in it, as you say. Oh, that's why they have that thing up about the Super Chat. If you want to contribute so they can actually see the movie early, I think they want me to tell you to do the Super Chat. And I'm supposed to give you a shout out. And there's supposed to be a link to coffee in the description and all that stuff. There's this guy, Jake Osceola, who's been pretty much contributing every week. We might as well just call him a sponsor at this point. So, but let's get back to my thoughts on the episode. I did appreciate the haunted look in Captain Pike's eyes, and speaking to the parents of the really big monk that he dealt with, who just dropped them off was just dropped off a couple weeks earlier. Time stones. You should try slipping one into someone's toilet sometime. Sometimes it reverses time, and anyway, those are Q Continuum pranks. Thick? Is Thanos thick? I guess Thanos is thick. With a C. Apparently, I'm therapeutic, and I'm helping someone with a cracked rib. Again, if the continuum hadn't, limited my abilities here, you'd be okay. But as soon as they lift my abilities, I might pop in on Thanos, before Endgame, just to kind of make fun of him. I'm not going to deal with the problem for you. You have enough problems dealt with. Okay. But yeah, some respect to TOS. Be interesting to see if they have the red doors on the Enterprise next week. Joe, I appreciate you letting us know that Shazam was very good. I would expect no less. We actually... Didn't you people... Yes, they actually recorded Zachary Levi last year at Baltimore Comic-Con, his entire panel. And for a mortal to make me laugh, I mean, other than Jean-Luc, is quite the accomplishment, and he managed it. He really wants to kick The Rock's ass. Mount and Peck have been the best things this season. Doug Jones, I agree. He is definitely a mortal human who can actually channel being alien. So I definitely agree about Doug Jones. Burnham is a little bit familiar, but we don't know how militant apparently this particular universe, Starfleet, they're military, but they're not exactly military because they don't allow they don't salute. You have people who came back from the dead just going and asking different admirals for therapy for free. That's interesting. It's okay, Joe. That's all right. And mind, Lisa, don't worry about it. I mean, I don't need money. Yeah, Burnham, well, maybe once he's the captain. But then again, if you recall, quite often, McCoy would just be like, Jim, what's going on? He didn't exactly stick to the protocol. I will check out that Pogo video. I love the one with Jean-Luc. Make it so, make it so, make it so. If you haven't seen that, check that out. John is asking me about the governor. The governor will be watching Fear this summer. There's been a lot of demand for that. And he's also, from what I understand, going to go back and react to The Walking Dead seasons 1 through, I think, 6 that he missed. He may even redo 7 because he was really doing reviews at that point. And he's going to do earlier seasons of Fear, though I feel really bad for him. I realize the governor's in hell and he's supposed to be punished. But to watch Fear Season 1? Oh my god. Poor guy. Time Stones broke Star Trek. Time Stones may fix Star Trek, so you never know. We can only hope. Let's see. Apparently, the Black Nerd just released a video saying that Shazam was good as well. So let's see, what else do we have here? So to talk about next week, we are going to have the Enterprise. They're supposedly, at this point, getting ready to blow up the Discovery, which would solve some issues. I mean, get rid of the spore drive, get rid of the data. But I have a feeling it's not going to be that easy. Again, they've cut me off from seeing into the future. So I can only surmise, but I don't think that the Discovery will be destroyed unless they're going to build another one, which I suppose they could do. Do they really need that spinning disc thing? The info about Trek on Vegas. Yeah, a prepaid debit card's not a bad idea. And I mean, I believe they've taken care of it, and if you have, I actually have an Earth credit card, a Capital One, and a charge did mysteriously appear on there, or they attempted it, and Capital One took care of it. So I believe the whole thing with Creation Entertainment has been ironed out. Just don't get me started on Regeneration Who 5. What Earth book? Oh, Joe, thank you for stopping in. We hopefully will see you next week. Oh, apparently there's more live streams this week because a couple things happened. I guess The Walking Dead Season 9 ended, so tomorrow night the governor will live stream from hell. And then on Sunday, I think a couple of these folks from Fandom Spotlite, the Captain Kyle person, and Maiden, who far superior to Captain Kyle, I must say, you know, obviously, they will be speaking on Sunday, I think, in the afternoon. The schedule's on the community page. Check that out. And apparently they've reached 10,000 subscribers, which, you know, I suppose is like 0.001% or 0.0001% of all of YouTube. So good for them. Jolly good. Earth book. What did I read last? It was something, I think, in the Maddox series. I read one of the Thrawn novels, because Thrawn's an interesting fellow. And let's see, we also had, I read a book on Twitter marketing. Fascinating stuff. What other books have I read? I mean, I read so many books, but David Weber, he writes a fascinating series. Through Fiery Trails was his last book that I've read in the Safehold series. Let's see. Rewatch Calypso. Was that an online, like, short? I didn't watch that. I've just watched the main show. So, this whole thing with Burnham's mom, who knows what's going to happen? She's supposedly stuck in the future. How she got stuck there when she's from a different time and the time stone is from that time, I have no idea. But she's supposedly in the future, and hopefully the universe will transform around her. John, I love the puns. Governor watching Glenn's death out. What's of her? I didn't see that coming. I see what you did there. That's going to be interesting. But what I think the governor has decided to do is after the Herschel episode, which, you know, even I was a little taken aback by that, he's going to explain why he killed Herschel and not Michonne, who basically owes him a penny and later on stabbed him in the back. He's going to explain what his thinking was. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. I'll have to check out this Calypso thing. Dune, the best book ever. Well, have you read David Weber? Have you read David Eddings? Dune. I must say, I have a lot of patience, but reading the first book, I couldn't get through it until I actually saw the movie, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'm getting somewhere in this book. It's fine if you like the Dune series. I guess it adds spice to your life. You know what I mean. But for me, definitely the Honor Harrington series, the Safehold series by David Weber, Asimov, always a classic, and a lot of Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. A lot of his books were wonderful. Yes, Dune, not on my list, I'm sorry. I have to admit I even liked Pern better than Dune. But we're dragging things out there. You humans do like these puns, right? I hope you're getting them. Okay, so again, this was a decent episode. There wasn't too much for me to complain about. The whole, you know, Chancellor and Tyler meeting up again in that little awkwardness was kind of amusing to watch, but and then they of course fought in front of Captain Pike. That was kind of funny. But yes, I must say the Pike storyline, awesome to see that level of sacrifice, and he definitely knows what's coming, and he's facing it. So Burnham and Spock made a good team. Of course, Spock would save the day because he's Spock. Spock is starting to grow on me. And looks like next week we'll see Sarek again. Again, James Frain, excellent actor. Emotes a little too much, I think, for Sarek, but we'll see. John, thanks for stopping by. We will see you next time. The spice does flow. I didn't get to God Emperor of Dune because the first one was so painful. It will be cool to see the Enterprise, pre-Kirk, going into battle. Speaking of Enterprise, I mean, I just rewatched their Mirror Universe episodes, and that was some good stuff, I have to say. In fact, I believe they're planning on doing some kind of Mirror Universe video at some point. So if you like the Mirror Universe, which is only one of many of the other universes that are out there, you might want to check that out. The whole brother and sister thing is kind of a little cheesy, but, you know, so are they. Dean is asking, how would you feel if you met yourself and later found out that the copy version of yourself was actually a creature known as the Skrull? Skrull may change on a DNA level, but they could never match the DNA of a Q in our connection to powers beyond their comprehension. So I'm not too worried about the Skrulls. Jim, welcome aboard. I appreciate your appreciation of this particular outfit. 22nd century judge, I believe. You know, so hard to keep track of your time periods. And yes, the governor definitely, how do I say, kills it on this channel with his commentary. If you haven't watched the last one, one particular burning remark, as burning as the odor coming off Daryl's body, was actually about Daryl, so you should check that out. The mere episodes of the series Enterprise, they actually don't tie into Discovery. They tie into the Tholian web in season 3 of the original series. Though, of course, they did talk about the Defiant in Discovery. So, but it's actually harkening back to the original series in season 3, where the USS Defiant was lost. And now we know where it went. It went back in time and into another universe. So I guess this whole thing about Control going back in time and into another quadrant isn't as far-fetched as we might think. But again, I would be very upset if they do it. Cockney? No, I'm just being superior. Though, when I deal with humans, I try to speak in their particular language, and sometimes I start to adopt their speech patterns. You should see when I deal with people from, what is that, Kentucky? That is something. I don't even know if I can talk like someone from Kentucky that easily, but how y'all doing? But Mind for Lease, yes, they did reference it. And you should definitely check out the TOS episodes. And there's also this thing called Wikipedia, which also explains it as well. But the TOS episodes, Mirror Mirror was in the second season of TOS, which was our first encounter with the Mirror Universe. So it kind of makes sense because they changed their color schemes, maybe with the Defiant going back and them seeing those costumes, they were inspired to change over, because prior to that, their uniforms were very similar to the ones on Enterprise. You lived in Kentucky for 6 years. So how did I do? Did I sound like I was from Kentucky? I don't know. I'm out of practice. I haven't hung out with my Kentuckian friends all that much. Jim, where are you from? And did I visit the writer of Dreaming of Electric Sheep? I believe you mean Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. No, I didn't visit him. It's just, I think he's had dreams about me, but what mortal wouldn't? Quillen, right? Quillian. I'm sorry, so many eons between weeks. Quillian, welcome back. You loved the episode. I'm glad to hear it. Again, I thought it was very good as far as the Pike stuff went. It was okay with Burnham, because any scene that she's in, I don't happen to like. I mean, maybe I should give her another chance, but it's very difficult. And so Jim actually thought that I had a bit of Cockney, and he's from the UK, so that's interesting. Not even close? Yeah, again, I would have to... I actually have to revisit accents before I use them. Generally I go with a superior accent because I am superior. And of course, I can mimic the governor if I wanted to, because, you know, I see him a lot. But, you know, from Oregon, just moved to Texas from Kentucky, and I sound like I'm from Virginia. Wow, I get around. So welcome, Jim. Jim, it must be late there in the UK, so unless you're visiting elsewhere. Yes, so you move around a lot. Just moved to Texas. I know people in Texas. It's a big state. They have big crickets. Pylon. How do I say it again?
Quillian?
Quillian. Quillian likes Captain Pike. Yes, as I keep on saying, he is like the best part of Season 2. And yes, these folks, and I may pop into the great Philadelphia Comic-Con, which is in Oaks, Pennsylvania, because Anson Mount will be there. He's also going to be at Shore Leave in July, so a couple opportunities to tell him he's doing such a good job. Jim, you're staying up rather late. Are you a night owl? Do you have to work in the morning, or do you work in the afternoon? Well, I appreciate the fact that you came on to catch the stream. Such, how shall we say, loyalty to this channel. I mean, they must be doing something right. 10,000 subscribers? Again, 0.0001%. Not bad. So, I don't have too much more to say about the episode, other than it was good. Again, I don't think Control will be the Borg. I really hope they don't do that. And I'm looking forward to next week. You work in the afternoon. That can be good. I would like to work in the afternoon after sleeping all day, but actually, I work whenever I feel like it. And if I'm late for wherever I need to be, I just go back in time. I'm Q. Mine for Lease plans on visiting Colorado, Idaho, Washington, and possibly California in about 2 months. Delivery apps let you work anywhere. Very interesting. So you're a traveling person. I believe that Captain Kyle fellow has done a bit of traveling too. He actually went over to that UK place. Right a few months before the Doctor Who experience closed down, and he was able to actually go in and look around, get some video. I mean, why people like Time Lords, I don't know. Gregory, please stay just a bit. Well, I will tell you this. The battery on here, because we didn't plug it in, is not going to allow me that much more time. But we'll get there. The joys of being self-employed. I believe Captain Kyle would like to do that at some point, become totally self-employed. I think he's got one of those JOBs, as they call them, jobs. Just sounds very unpleasant unless you put a different word in front of it. Not day job, but it does start with a B. I think you know what I mean. Those are apparently very pleasant for humans. I don't think you could handle one from a queue, no matter what the orientation. So, most of the time, we don't want them to go... When we don't want them to go a certain way, they do that. Yes, that is true. CBS does have a tendency to not listen to fans, though they did give the Klingons their hair back. I didn't think they could be any uglier than they were, and then they shaved them. Mind for Elise was worked for a company in Kentucky, and then decided it was time to do some. I imagine you mean wandering. Wandering is always good. I do it all the time. I pop in. Is it couch surfing when you go to the Enterprise D? I don't think Jean-Luc appreciates it when I show up on his couch. Being friends with the manager so you can work out time to work. 3 to 7 or later. Nice. Culber came back to life. Yes, but I don't think that they like death being all that permanent unless you're a minor character or a member of Section 31. And even then, it's up in the air. Yes, mind for lease. I didn't lease your mind, but I read it. I knew what you meant. Well, it looks like we've been on here for about 46 minutes. And the battery will be cutting off pretty soon. So, final judgment. Very good episode. Burnham didn't spoil it. And some very interesting turns of phrase. Before I go, though, what did you guys think of the whole intervention between Stamets and Culber by that engineer who had a hangnail? What a reason to go to sickbay, a hangnail. And what did you guys think of that? Was that a good move for her to remind Culber that, you know, relationships aren't with someone that you really connect with, aren't that easy to come by, even in the Q continuum. I mean, it took me a while to find Lady Q, and she's off with Little Q somewhere. I mean, we do spend some time apart because apparently I find her obnoxious and she thinks I'm overbearing. Like it's possible. Have I stuck a fork in Guinan yet? Well, I haven't actually, because there's a rule that I'm not supposed to just destroy any of her people because of what happened with the Borg, you know. It's a long story, but she's still around with that ridiculous hat. Yes, non-permanent deaths sometimes are okay. The Walking Dead, you're dead, you're dead. Unless you appear to die and then you jump under a dumpster somehow and slide under there. I mean, I know Glenn was pretty fit, but have you seen most dumpsters? You can't get under there. My expectations for Season 10. I think the Commonwealth is going to factor in. I think that's clear. I think the Whisper War will start. I'm hoping, again, they've cut off my ability to see into the future, but I'm really hoping that it's not Negan that kills Alpha. I'd be quite happy if Negan killed Beta. Or, you know, teamed up with Daryl. Wouldn't that stick something up Daryl's butt when he realized that he owes, like, his life to Negan? That would be hilarious. But I really want to see Carol take care of Alpha. I think mothery mother. Man, you humans contaminate your planet. But yes, I think it will be interesting. Mind Felice, you are quite welcome. Or whatever that lady's name is. Yes, I understand. It was cute. I thought that scene was cute. A Negan and Beta fight, though. Negan needs to find Lucille somewhere. Hope to the week. I am doing well because I am Q. I hope you are doing well because you are mortal and who knows how you're doing. Yes, I certainly hope that's the plan, Carol versus Alpha, because I don't think Alpha realizes what she's unleashed. I mean, Henry was an idiot, but he's a kid. He's supposed to be an idiot. Is there a Jean-Luc Picard here? Well, Jean-Luc apparently is getting ready for his return to the airwaves, so that will be interesting. I don't know if they will televise when I pop in on him, but you can be assured I will. Alright, this battery is getting dangerously low. So I'm afraid that, again, my hands are tied, or I would just charge it like that. Judith and Negan versus Beta? I tell you what, my fans of The Walking Dead, tomorrow evening there will be a stream with that governor person. Old One-Eyed Bry himself will be here. It will be at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so an hour earlier than this stream was today. And he will answer all your questions about what he thinks about Season 10. And you can ask him anything you want. Whether he's going to answer, well, that's really up to him. I will check out the Pogo song. And, yes, I definitely hope that there's not a lot of filler episodes. But I hope to see, because I will be watching tomorrow, because the governor apparently thinks we should support each other. He's watching from over there. Beady One Eye. But yes, deal with him tomorrow, and I will deal with you all next week, when it's the second to last episode, I believe, of this season. So my punishment is almost over, and we'll have to see about next season. I haven't decided on that yet, but my verdict is in, and remember... Oh, thank you so much. Hope to the week. Very much appreciated. There's cats here that Gary7 unloaded on us that need to be fed. But we will see you next week. And again, tune in to the Governor tomorrow and Captain Kyle and Maiden on Sunday, much earlier. Let me see here. I think I can actually tell you here. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, which means that for those across the pond, it might be like 9-ish, 10-ish, depending on where you are. Orville, it looks like they are taking a little bit of a break. And Gregory, the Seagull song is the most epic song ever. That is great. I've already checked it out. It is on my MP3 player. And the reason I have an MP3 player and not an iPod is because Apple is obviously the start of the Borg. And, you know, I don't like collectives. Don't fall asleep. Again, thank you all. We will see you next week. And as always, remember, the trial is never over. But this stream is.